Shut up, Thee. I'll tell him to turn your fucking president around and take it back to China.
Yeah, good luck with that. Let me know how that works out for you.
Stop the boat! I will turn this boat around right now!
This bitch does not deserve a present!
Welcome everybody to Tactical Advisors episode 3 called Bye Bye Bracket. I thought it was fitting considering what the hell happened this weekend. We are doing the coverage for the quarterfinals, which made Thee cry. So, LA, you should be sending Thee a personal apology right now.
You should.
You really should be. Also, I will personally eat my words for everything horrible that I said about Philadelphia. Oh, man. That was the first thing I thought of, too, when I saw them win. I was like, yep, I feel like I should publicly apologize. Oh, I did text Thee, and I said, see, I told you they watched the show, and they got pissed off, and they won.
The first thing I thought of was, wait, was my dare of drinking an entire bottle of vodka for if they just won the first game or won the entire thing?
I'm gonna have to go back.
Watch the show.
Was it?
I said if they win the entire thing.
Carpe. We need to come up with a battle plan for New York here. I will gladly take my bracket just so he can do that.
I don't want to die, please.
Well, I mean, you'll get your, like, $20. It's not jumping off a bridge, but I guess I'll settle. So,
but then Random will have to pay the entire rent for a new place.
Nah, it's fine. I'll send her money. I don't have any, but I'll send her Monopoly money.
So,
it's the same as
so
Canadian, right?
Canadian. Yeah.
Since we're having first thoughts, you know, my first thought was, I always have to pick the team that lets me down. Like, why did you do this to me?
At least your team made it into the playoffs. I mean, me and Retro were already let down before they started.
Well,
okay.
In all honesty, though, it's not like you and me were both let down that much. I believe my team was 7th. I'm just bringing up everything right now to double check. Yeah, my team was 7th, so I was just barely out of it. And yours were 10th, but they turned it around from being like, what, 11th before that?
Yeah.
So yes, they only gained 1 spot, but still, they did turn their game around, and they actually made it to stage 4 playoffs. So they did do good, just only for the last, month.
Yep. So before we start the full overview of the quarterfinals, let's talk about MVP real quick, because they did announce that in the very first game. On Wednesday it was, I believe.
Yes.
I don't think any of us got it right at all.
No.
I still am sticking by my pick. I mean, I agree. I do understand, like, who won. And plus it was fan voted, too. So, that was also a factor. So, I mean, Jonak won MVP. He's a great player. Like, I mean, you can't really argue with him getting it.
The other thing is that Fisher was in second. Gregory was not in second. But the next closest vote, so being Fisher, I believe was like 15,000 off. Like, Jonak won by a landslide. There was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So,
But I mean, he deserved it.
Here's my thing. I'm glad it went to someone who was a MVP in my eyes, not someone who was just, oh, we like them as a player. And I'm not saying that to insult Gregory at all. It's just, Jonak also has the stats behind it to prove that he deserved it. Simple as that. He deserved it.
No, and I agree. So, I mean, I wasn't terribly surprised to hear that Jonak won. And I'm not surprised to hear that Fisher was in second either, so... Fisher is a very large fan favorite.
I was actually surprised that it wasn't a DPS. But then again, it's Jonak, so DPS support...
I mean, he kind of DPSs.
Yeah. It's a thin line between what he is.
Yeah, so I mean, I would agree. I would think because DPS gets so much of the spotlight, technically, that it wasn't. But, I mean, like I said, he does DPS with heal anyway. He mainly mains as Zenyatta, so, I mean...
Yeah.
They're kind of both, so it's not completely off what we were thinking, so... But
the thing that surprised me the most, though, is when they were saying about how the Overwatch League was his first time actually playing competitive Overwatch. Yeah. Like, before this, he had never been on a team. This is his rookie year. And he gets MVP his rookie year.
He's never been on competitive anything. This is his very first thing.
Like, this is him, not even playing for any sports teams throughout high school, getting drafted into the NHL, and then winning the Stanley Cup, pretty much. Similar idea.
New York better hang on to him for dear life, because if there's any possible opportunity for another team to take him, I guarantee you they're going to try, so...
I like what he said in the interview, too. He said it was a 30% hard work and 70% talent. Like, he got it being as good as he is. It's not about how hard he worked.
Yeah, and I mean,
he did play, but...
I mean, it plays a part, but it also helps that he has really good continuity with the rest of his team. Like, if you don't get along with your team, or you have language issues, or whatever it may be, it doesn't matter how good you are, you're not going to play to your full potential if you don't have that camaraderie with the people that you're playing with.
So, exactly.
So, congrats. No, yeah. Congrats to Jonak. It's well deserved. So, if you're watching this, because I just assume that every Overwatch League player watches the show. I'm telling you, Carpe watched the show. I know he did. And he's like, those assholes. So...
Hey, I'm fine if he thinks I'm an asshole. I am an asshole.
Well, everybody thinks you're an asshole, so I mean, he's part of the course of that one.
It's true, though, so I'm fine with it.
True. So, to wrap the first game, we have 6th-seeded Fusion going up against 3rd-seeded Boston. My biggest note that I made for that game was holy fuck balls. Because it did not go at all how I thought. Like, I didn't give Fusion a shred of anything. And I put my foot so far in my mouth that it went into my intestines. Like, I couldn't believe it. And it's funny because, like, I forgot how good players like Carpe are. Like, Carpe was amazing. Was it EQO was great. Shadow was a great fill-in. It's just... I just forgot, like, how good some of these players are just because of where their seed is. But they played outstanding against Boston. My jaw was on the floor, like, the whole time. Especially when, we were taking notes. That first game and that first push, it was a 14-3 kill death ratio. 14-3. It's a big...
In the end, it was 30-6.
Yep.
That's embarrassing, honestly.
Yeah.
That's embarrassing.
That's really almost as embarrassing as when Fuel never even capped .1 on Junkertown.
Listen, sir. Would you like to fight this out now while we're filming? Do you want to have this conversation?
No, we don't have time.
Exactly. So some of the notes that I had made was Fusion wrecking them, pushing payload. That's literally what I typed.
Yep.
Diva alts were hitting for Fusion. Literally wrote Fusion bulldoze to 3 points.
They did.
Yeah,
Boston
they did.
never stopped the cart at all.
They didn't, and that was really surprising to me that they couldn't stop it. They could like stall it a little bit, but every time they tried to stop that cart, they got annihilated.
A huge part of that though was Carpe. He played out of his mind this entire series.
The first,
I have a note here, and
I wonder if you have the same one.
This is actually for map 2, but Carpe won like 90% of the duels. I think I have written down here versus Striker.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's ridiculous. Carpe was he had his number. And when one team has the long range and the other doesn't, it's just like any team-based game that has a long-range weapon in it. You don't have that long range, you're done.
I had, so for the first map, Carpe had 10 kills. Half of those kills were on Nico, the support, the Zenyatta. Which is really, really important because that means that Carpe knew that he needed to focus on those supports, and he did really well. And my next note's actually making me laugh. In big, huge capital letters, I have Striker, why you walk away from Carpe? Because he just kind of left him, and it was a
Widow v Widow. You're talking about.
Yeah. And he had Carpe, and he just goes away. And I was like, what? Hello?
Why would you not chase him? He had like 10 hit points left. Why would you not chase him?
He just went away.
Or at least throw your mine to try and, okay, he's running this way, maybe he'll go over here, let's throw the mine. Maybe I'll kill him, or maybe someone else will run over it. Free damage. Sweet.
And it was so funny when it happened because we were in voice chat for this, and all of us, as soon as we saw that play, were like, what the fuck? Why would you... Hello?
Where is he going?
Why? And then I almost freaked out again because they showed the replay of it on the live feed, and I thought that he did it a second time, and I was literally about to lose my shit. I was gonna lose it.
And I was like, oh no, it's a replay.
Like, it's just a replay, and I was like, oh, thank God. I was about
that. If you would have done it twice, it would have been like, what's he doing? Like, is he throwing? Is he drunk? What?
I would have added Striker on Twitter so damn fast.
Listen, sir.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny that, again, that he ran away from that fight, which I still don't know why. But Striker on Dorado actually has the second best Widow v Widow win rate, and Carpe is third. So Striker statistically is better at Widow v Widow on Dorado. So Striker. Why? Can you comment in the comment section why? I need answers.
Inquiring mind needs to know.
They definitely need to know. The only other note I have is when Boston made their push, they only started off with one healer.
Mm-hmm.
And then Nico finally switched from Roadhog to Zen when they realized that doesn't work.
But by the time they switched, they started focusing on the supports, like, exclusively. The heals were the first to go down every single push as soon as they switched.
Well, as they should be, I feel like, because it obviously is a smart tactic. So, but I think at the end, I want to say at the end of I want to say it was at the end of map 2 that the kill death ratio was like 61 to 23. I believe it was.
Holy cow.
And it was not even close. And like I said, my jaw was on the floor the whole map.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it.
It's not that it was pathetic. It's just that shows how much of an impact some of these players were having. Like, Carpe was hands down player of the game for all of this. Like, this entire match set, he was hands down player of the game. And then when you look at the second time they played on Friday, there was a different player of the game, but for a different reason.
I almost feel like Carpe right now is the MVP of the entire playoffs at the moment.
Well, they are doing MVP of the playoffs, so we have to make more predictions on who the MVP is going to be.
Well, at the moment, my pick is Carpe because you have a 6-seeded team, and he literally was one of the biggest reasons why they were able to just pick apart Boston like a rotisserie chicken. So
exactly. Right now, my money would be on Carpe too. I want to see how New York does and how the Valiants do before I make my pick. But at the same point in time, if New York beats, well, I don't want to say when New York beats Philly, because my money's still on New York winning. When they beat Philly, it'll either be Jonak or Pine, in my eyes. Whichever one of them is carrying harder. Again. I would actually like that.
I feel like if New York actually wins the whole thing, that he's going to get it again. I just feel like he's a more popular player than Pine.
Yeah. I feel like if New York wins it all, then either A, his salary is going to go up, or B, New York might do the other smart thing and just sell him for a ridiculous amount of money to try and get some other players to round out other positions also.
I don't know if the league has quite gotten to the point to where they could actually successfully pull that off.
Yeah.
Everyone has contracts, so they'll all have buyouts.
I mean, they will, but I don't feel like he would take it. I think he would rather be on a winning team than go to maybe, no offense, but say the Dragons, where it's probably going to be a little while till they start winning still. You know?
So,
who knows?
Watching the heartbreak of the London and LA games.
We're not there yet. Why are you going to get to that point?
Because my MVP is, it's got to be Birdring. Like, he did a pretty good job playing Widow, and then a couple of times he was Tracer, I believe. Those were amazing to watch. Knowing the statistics of what London started off before this started and how good they looked, like...
I actually have a thing for Birdring when we get to that match that I was watching earlier. But I cry for you, Thee. I do.
I don't. You're now joining us with your team not being in the playoffs anymore.
The one pick I didn't want to be right about. The one pick I wanted to be wrong. So, Thee, what were your thoughts on Philly and Boston? Because I know you were just as floored as I was when we were watching it.
I mean, I was shocked at how fast they were taking points and with like no resistance at all from Boston. Like it was amazing. I have the times written down in my notes how fast they were taking points. The only time that they dropped to less than like a minute, I think it was in the third map.
Eichenwald.
Yes, it was an Eichenwald, or Eichen, however you say that. So, but I believe they still ended up, they still won that map. So it didn't matter how low they got; they still came through in the end. A lot of my notes are about EQO. I can't say his name.
EQO,
I didn't say
can you change your name to something that's easier to say?
No. But yeah, like just his Hanzo plays. Hanzo was so sick to watch. Like the storm arrows, I don't know how many times you guys practiced with those storm arrows, but they looked on point like every single time.
I don't care what kind of arrow you give Hanzo, I'm still going to be bad at it. I just can't Hanzo.
So,
Actually, a funny point about Eichenwald while we're on that. When Mistakes chose Sombra, when they were on the attack, that was, I believe they were on the attack there. That was the first time she has seen play on Eichenwald in the Overwatch League period, because she wasn't released until after they had rotated Eichenwald out of the map pool.
So
leave it. So
yeah, so that whole thing was just a, oh my god, holy crap, Philly thing. Like,
Yeah. Also, speaking of Philly, just in general, another note I have on that, they had never practiced using Tracer. They just decided, let's have fun and pull her out for the playoffs. And look how well that went for them.
I mean, we did kind of talk about this in the last show. We were going over this of were they going to start pulling out other characters that didn't really get used so often. So, I mean, I definitely feel like we see the Tracer a little bit more now in the playoffs than what we were in the regular season. And even we're not even seeing Brigitte that much right now.
And McCree, there wasn't very many McCree picks, and even when they did pick McCree, there wasn't a Tracer on the other side, so it's used for something else. So,
so I have noticed that they're starting to go back to the old comps a little bit. I mean, you still are seeing the 3-3, so 3 tank 3 support, but they're starting to go back to what the comps were before, which is kind of what I had a feeling what was going to happen. So
yeah, because the teams haven't played against it in, for some of them, 4 months almost.
Yep. So I feel like a terrible person not giving Philly an ounce of credit. Because we really didn't talk about them that much when we were going over our predictions, so.
We didn't, but looking just at the stats and everything, you had to go with they were going to lose.
I mean, that's true, but, playoffs are playoffs, so I guess we got to see that firsthand already.
I mean, speaking of stats, on map 4, Ball Sky Industries, Boston had never lost that map. They were a perfect record on it, and they got full held by Philly for them to take it to win the series.
Yeah, I do have that note too, but I wanted to see if you were going to say it first.
Oh, yeah.
The thing that surprised me the most was when Philly steamrolled on the first attack. They had 5 minutes and 22 seconds left after that. So even if Boston would have capped it, they still had, for argument's sake, 5.5 minutes to attack the first point pretty much 5 times. It was going to be hard for Boston to fight back.
Yeah.
They were pretty much done at that point. The second that 5:22 hit when they capped it, it's like, okay, cool. Just keep jumping off the edge. You're done. That much of a steamroll that affects you mentally and everything.
It almost looked like Boston was just like, here you go. Just go. They didn't put up any fight. And then every time they tried and did, they just died. They'd just been better off just sitting and waiting for them to push the payload. It was just that bad. So.
They did not look like Boston on Wednesday.
No, they didn't.
I'm sure they're pretty pissed at themselves because they should have played better. So, I mean, it is what it is. We all got it wrong in a bracket, so GG us.
Yep.
So brackets are flipped around now because of Philly. Yeah, we'll touch base on that when we finish the rest of the matches.
Brackets are all clusterfuck now.
Yeah.
So now let's go to Wednesday, London versus the Gladiators, and the bullshit that happened before that.
So it was announced that Fisher would not be playing in the playoffs. Period.
Initially, it was just supposed to be for day 1.
Is it? Okay, see, I thought the official statement was...
Well, first...
it was just supposed to be either day 1 or this first set of 3, and then he might be able to play again later on. But then for the set on Saturday, sorry about that, they changed it to say, no, he's not coming back, period, for the playoffs.
Well, first, they got the initial rumor wrong as to why he wasn't playing. Because, of course, people have to try and stir up drama was trying to say that Fisher wasn't happy with the amount of practice that his team was putting in and that he was upset with them, so he just stopped communicating and stopped trying, and so he got benched.
Yes. However,
That
if
wasn't
you
what
also
happened.
look at the post on Twitter that the Gladiators themselves put out, that is how they even worded it. So a huge issue there is how their PR team was wording it.
Well, they could have just said, "Hey, Remix was playing better right now. We're gonna play him." Like, how hard is it?
Exactly. But no, they had it so that no, it's all on Fisher. It's all on Fisher. If you look at that tweet,
I think they were trying to convey that it was a communication barrier, not that it was a problem, that it was a language barrier in communicating in the scrims. Not that he wasn't communicating, that there was just a language problem.
Which
because
I did hear that now Fisher is wanting to leave LA and go to an all Korean speaking team.
That is his hope. He's not asking to be removed. He's not asking to be removed from LA, and he's not asking the Gladiators to give him an all Korean team. He just thinks that he would be more comfortable in an all Korean speaking team.
It does make sense though, because look at it. All three of us are from different places. You two are American. I'm Canadian. Just the culture between all these different places, even though it's very similar because we're all in North America, and for you two, you're in the same country, it's still vastly different. Just the cultures and what's acceptable to say and that sort of thing. So now you're going from not only different continents, but different countries, different primary languages and all that. Like, it does make sense why he would want to transfer back to a team that's either A, primarily Korean with just one or two English speakers, or B, pure Korean.
I mean, it does make sense, but I mean, at the same time, a part of me feels like if you're going to play in a professional league that is international, that you need to just figure it out somehow if you want to be successful.
Exactly.
I realize it's hard and it's going to take time, and I would want to be playing on a team that primarily speaks my language too, but you also just, you have to figure it out.
I mean, and that's what you and I were discussing the day after, that, you know, if it's just a hurdle that he can't get over, I mean, I hate to say it out loud, but he could fade into the background if he can't figure out how to communicate with everybody. He could get put on a team that goes nowhere and does nothing, and his talent will be lost.
No,
oh, so you mean he's transferring to Fuel?
I was gonna say maybe he'll go and find an all Korean speaking team for Contenders, but since we want to go that route, which I don't think any of the main starter players speak Korean on the Fuel, I'm pretty sure. I know we've got 2 French people.
I know, I was just throwing shots.
Yeah.
I mean, it's what he does.
He does.
Again,
and my shots will go directly up his butt. That's fine.
Okay, so the game, a lot of people, as soon as they heard that Fisher was out, they all started doubting. I mean, with good reason. Fisher is Fisher, and Fisher did make them look really good.
And iRemix hadn't seen play since, like, what, stage 1?
I think he got subbed in stage 2, but it wasn't for very long.
Exactly, but that's my point. He was primarily there stage 1, then a sub like once or twice afterwards, which, for argument's sake, you can throw out saying he was only in for a game or something like that. So it's.
I mean, he didn't play bad, but he just wasn't Fisher.
No, he didn't. On Wednesday, he did not play bad, but he definitely wasn't Fisher.
You could just tell that there was just breakdowns everywhere. Like, I was watching, I didn't even see game 1 or game 2, but I was watching game 3 before we started filming, and you could just see that it's not the Gladiators, that it just didn't feel like them.
I think what happened in game 1 was Surefour put him on his back, and he carried them. Like, his snipes were out of control.
Oh yeah, his snipes on Junkertown were amazing. And Frag, I'm pretty sure you're thinking of the Saturday games.
Whatever game 3
not
was.
the Wednesday.
Game 3 was the only one I had a chance to watch. So I didn't see 1 or 2, which was probably a good thing.
No, the first match was good. Like,
yeah, because you guys won that one.
yes, we did. So even after all the drama of no Fisher, the Gladiators ended up winning 3-0. So like it looked like there was a possibility they could pull it together without Fisher, and then Saturday happened.
I did find it interesting though that the games were all 3-1 or 3-0. There was no 3-2. It didn't go to a game 5. It was Philadelphia and Boston. All 3 games were 3-1, and then all 3 for LA and London were all 3-0. I found that interesting that it was just that one-sided.
Yep. But here's a funny thing though. A note I have. When Gladiators did win that first match on Wednesday, that set of 3, it looked closer if you're looking at the scoreboard itself, because I believe, like, within Junkertown it was like 3-2, and then on Lijiang it was 2-1, but then on Kings Row they just completely stomped. Simple as that.
So the first game 1 was 3-2. So yeah, you're right.
Correct. On Junkertown, it was 3-2. And it looked a lot closer than it actually was, because the Gladiators, it still was just overhandedly them. But if you look at that scoreboard of just seeing 0-3-2, it's like, oh, okay, so they pushed it pretty much all the way. They just couldn't fully cap it, whatever. You know, London played good. No, Gladiators overwhelmingly stomped them.
Yes.
They just made some mistakes to let them cap a point or let them push the payload past 2 points.
Yeah, it went in. Go ahead.
It was pretty much on Gladiators messing up that they got anything. Otherwise, it would have been 3-0, 3-0, 3-0.
Yeah,
3-0, 2-0, 3-0.
Yeah, they forced it into OT before they capped point 2, and they forced it into overtime to not let them get point 3. But when they were on the attack side, they had over 3 minutes remaining at the end of point 3. So like
Yep.
they steamrolled and they were holding, but it was just like that little oomph that Fisher bring allowed them to cap point 2 and make it really close to point 3.
Yep.
I will say I'm looking at game 2, the stats for the map, and I will say I do find the stat interesting that in Game 2 and Game 3, which is Oasis and Eichenwald, that LA got shut out both maps. It was 2-0, 3-0.
You're talking about a different day.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the second match.
Okay.
Okay.
You're jumping ahead.
Yeah, we're still on Wednesday. Why are you talking about Saturday?
Because Saturday was better.
What?
It was better for my bracket.
She has
Listen
point
here.
there.
Listen here.
But no, like,
So-
looking at the stats, I'm surprised that it was as... I mean, it was close, but stats-wise it wasn't close, because I was expecting a lot of these games to go extra points. Like, in match 3 that they had on Saturday, the last map went 5-4. I was expecting to see more of that, and I was kind of surprised by looking at it that it didn't really go past the main 3 points or anything like that. I was kind of expecting these games to be closer, but they kind of... Some of these kind of weren't.
Yeah, time bank was not a factor in these games. Like, even though some of the maps were taken with plenty of time as a time bank, it wasn't needed on the other end. Like,
Nope.
so
we did have for the first match, like we said, LA did win 3-2, and the second and the third map, which was Lijiang Tower and Kings Row, they won 2-1. So they didn't give anything up, which is good. But then what happened after that? See, what happened to your team?
they fell apart.
They took a kerplopperfluck, is what they did. Like,
They broke my poor little heart.
they did. I'm almost glad I didn't get to watch it live, because I just would have had an aneurysm with her.
It was so no, I didn't have an aneurysm. It was just so hard to watch. It was like I have to watch this for the podcast, but I don't want to watch it. Like I want to go make dinner or something. Damn it!
I'm not gonna lie. I had been helping my dad renovate a house earlier in the day, so I slept through the games. I am glad I did.
Yeah.
I was updating them on our Discord. I was like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, I was like, "Please send me updates." And then I
read them when
slowly
I woke up, and it's
noticed.
just like, yeah.
I slowly noticed as the gladiators were losing that my updates got less and less and less.
Less and less.
Probably because
like
she was
barely a sentence.
She was too
I'm like-
busy crying to text me.
She was too hysterical. She couldn't hold her phone properly.
Yep.
I did get a little hysterical. Like my kids were watching over there, because our couch is over there, and I was watching the one of the games, and I picked up my keyboard and I threw it. I was like, "What are you doing?" And he's like,
Oh my god, it's
"Are
scary.
you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine. It'll be okay. I'm all right now." Like, just needed that
Do
little
you
bit.
need another stiff drink, Mommy?
Mommy needs more vodka.
Mommy does not drink vodka.
Mommy needs more rum.
Gummy
There we go.
bears.
See?
Mommy needs gummy bears.
Yeah.
Alright, so game 2, which was played on Saturday.
Wait, I thought we were saving this for the end.
Well,
Yeah, why not go to Friday? You know, Wednesday then Friday? Why go Wednesday, Saturday, Friday?
because we already covered the first one.
No, we didn't cover
No.
Friday.
I was just going in order of the teams, not the dates. Okay.
Let's go to Boston versus Philly.
All right,
on Friday.
Boston
That'd be
versus
most
Philly on Friday.
This way, Dee's not crying halfway through the show. We can save
No,
it to the end.
please,
Oh,
Please don't
Lord.
make me cry.
Don't make her cry. So then on Friday, Boston and Philly actually went to 4 games, which is surprising, considering
Yep.
it's
Boston
again,
showed
one-sided.
up. You mean like
They-
Boston was there?
They actually
did
went
show
to
up.
8. They went to 8 games total.
Yeah.
Well,
so-
they had to play the next round. They had to play the third round if Boston wanted to go to the semis. So
Exactly,
True.
but that's my point. They didn't get, okay, we'll win the first one, then they got 3-0'd. At least in the second set, they also won at least one game, if it went to 8.
yeah,
That's
This
what
is
I was
also
trying
true.
to get at.
yeah.
so
But
first game was Junkertown, and
Junkertown in general was a lot of fun to watch during the quarters.
I like playing on Junkertown. It's like one of my favorite maps to play on.
oh yeah,
so much going on. And a lot of people
Mhm.
tried to run the pirate ship, and I don't think any of them did it very well.
Now-
no,
For those people who don't
Boston.
know what the pirate ship is, explain to people what pirate ship is, for one.
Okay, so pirate ship is when a person plays Bastion, which is half tank, half what is the other half of Bastion? I'm sorry.
DPS.
Okay. And he just gets into sentry mode where he puts himself stationary on the cart, and he just sits there and plows down shields for as long as he can and as far as he can. And usually he's protected with Orisa shield. Can
Which-
be subbed for other shields, but
Public play is very effective, mind you. Especially
And-
when you combine it with
Play,
a
we
Reinhardt
also
shield.
pull out Torb and Reinhardt and Orisa, so it'll be the 2 shield tanks being Reinhardt and Orisa. You'll have a Torb and you'll have the Bastion, and then you'll have a Lucio to heal everyone, or a Moira, and then you'll also have a Mercy to just damage boost the Bastion.
Yep.
And that's very effective in public play, because we don't know how to counter that with well-placed Widow shots to the Mercy, or well-placed Junkrat, just Junkrat in general, to the Bastion.
Yep.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but pirate ship seems to be run only on Junkertown. It's not on Kings Row. It's not on Dorado.
Why
It
is
seems
that?
like he's only
It
effective on
really
Junker.
it works. Just the way they designed the map, it really works for it. I've tried running pirate ship on other maps. It doesn't work that well, except for Blizzard World. It actually does work decently in Blizzard World.
It doesn't
Yeah,
work too bad on King's Row sometimes.
but King's Row is so compacted, and that's where Junkrat can just like annihilate you. I
It
think
can.
that's the problem.
It doesn't work towards the end, the last point, but at this, like the first to the second point, having a pirate ship works. But after that, not so much.
Junkertown is really the only one where you can start off on it, hop on that payload, and just ride it the entire way.
And depending on how good of a Bastion player you are, even if you die, you still have a chance to get back up on the payload, depending on where it stops.
Yep.
Because some teams ran the pirate ship all the way to the end. Philly was not one of them. They gave up on their Bastion pretty quickly, but they at least started with it. So
that was the thing in the Bastion v Bastion. I forget who was playing it on both teams, but Boston's Bastion was a lot better and more confident in his skills, I'll say, because he actually stuck with it. On Philly, they'd sub Bastion out instantly. Second they capped first point, sweet, we're getting a Roadhog now as instead of the Bastion.
Yeah.
That's what they always did.
Yep. So Boston ended up taking that 5-4. So that did go in extra points.
Right.
Let's see. So Boston won 2-0 on Lajing.
Mm-hmm.
That was interesting to watch. Like,
oh yeah,
especially point 2. I thought for sure that Philly was going to take it, and they just like it was bad.
Shit the bed.
Yeah, at like 75% of the way through, they were like, "Okay, we give up."
Yeah, they started fighting off the point. It's like, why? You need at least one person to stay on the point to contest it if one of them goes over there.
Yeah. Don't let them back cap it, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
So they did kind of try and bring it back. They did take map 3.
Yep.
Yeah.
Won 3-2 on King's Row. Then
But
Boston was like, F this, and then finished it off.
A huge part of that King's Row win, though, was just how aggressive Philly played. Like, after they capped the first point, they just ran all the way back to the spawn for Philly, and were fighting them there while they just had, I believe, the Widowmaker on the point, just solo pushing the cart.
Well,
yes.
It made sense. I mean, that's how Philly won the first game so overwhelmingly, was they were really aggressive. So once they started backing off from that aggressive play, that's when they started losing.
Yep.
So I don't know why they backed off from that.
I mean, but that was like super aggressive. Like, you're completely skipping a whole point and fighting with a team at the end of point 3 when you still have 2 to go. Like, that was
when they have advantage for spawn, they have advantage for heals, and they also have the fact that they're in a 5v6 right now. So if they stomp you guys, your guy who's left on the point is just going to be like, well, where's my pistol so I can kill myself because I'm dead. This isn't ending well.
And they won those fights, though, because the cart like made it completely in that time frame, didn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I know.
Not the whole way there. It had, like, I think it was 5 meters left when the other team actually got to make some room, but 5 meters left, you have people respawning from the fight, and pretty much right there, like, if, for argument's sake, you can say they did cap point 2 without any resistance.
Yeah. So then Boston ended up taking Hanamura for map 4, so Boston took the series. I don't quite know what happened to Boston in match 3 after the first map.
They were tired.
They went to sleep. I don't know what happened, but Philly was just like, I'll take this and go home, because you have Boston did win Junkertown 3-2, but then after that they couldn't get any more points other than 1 after that. Map 2 they didn't cap at all. Map 3 and 4 they took 1 point. So
which map Map 2, by the way, because the way they have it set up so that the loser of the map prior picks, and then whoever won that gets to choose if they attack or defend, if it's one of those maps. It completely surprised me that they chose Li Jiang, considering how much they were stomped just like, what, 2 hours earlier?
Yeah, so the new rules, if you will, for the playoffs is if it goes to match 3, the higher seed gets to pick the first map that they play, and then the other team gets to choose whether they want to attack or defend, which in that case, Boston chose the map and Philly chose to attack or defend. And then from that point on, the loser picks the map. So map 2, Philly got to pick. There is no side, so Boston was kind of just SOL at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And then for map 3, because Philly won, Boston got to pick. And then Boston got to pick again for map 4 because Philly won.
Yep.
And then I think for 5, there was no picking. It was whatever escort was left over that wasn't picked. And then map 6 is predetermined. So,
because
which
map 6 would have been, if there would have needed a map 6, that would have been the tiebreaker map of
Nepal.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I have my MVP for the game for this, Kellix. He was totally the MVP for this entire set for Fusion. He kept getting picked super early, kept playing out of position. He won it for Philly because he was never able to be alive for long to do his job as the Mercy.
Yes. You and I were talking about that like the whole time. Like, what is he doing? Where is he going?
I was watching that. I was noticing that Kellix was appearing on the kill feed an awful lot and not on the good side. And I was like, they're annihilating him as Mercy. And I almost wish he would have switched to something that had DPS attached to it. Maybe he could have stayed alive longer, but they were focused on him like laser.
But a huge part of the other issue was the fact that they were running solo heal setups and they were having him as the Mercy. It's like, it's obviously not working with him today for some reason. You know, it worked throughout the rest of the seasons. Today, he's just not feeling it. He can't solo heal. He can't Mercy. No big deal.
And it makes
Have
sense
him play
because
a different hero. But they never did.
Well, if you're going to have one solo healer, what do you expect to happen? The whole other team is going to focus on your one set of heals and then pick apart the rest of you. I mean, that only makes sense to me.
Yeah, but my thing is the Mercy wasn't working, so why not try Moira? Because at least she can group heal everyone. She has damage to help sustain herself. She has the mobility to help sustain herself. Why not try Brigitte? You know? Why not try some of these other heroes? But no, he just stuck to his Mercy, which he just wasn't feeling.
I mean, I understand why he stuck with Mercy, though, because had he been in the correct position when he was playing Mercy, she would have been the best healer. She's really the only healer that can pocket heal. They can protect her while she heals. The other ones kind of get in harm's way when they have to heal because they have to get closer to you. Mercy can stand around a corner, and had he just stayed behind his corner and healed, he'd have been fine.
And he didn't. Like you said, he was out of position a lot. And every single time he was out of position, they punished him. Every time.
Yeah, they did.
Some of those, I will give him one caveat. Some of those where he was dying was Carpe just taking aggressive peeks. I'll give him that. So some of those deaths, okay, that's Carpe being Carpe. You can't really plan for that. But still.
Yep.
Like, why not, if you're gonna want mistakes to play some of these other roles, why not have him, you know, he's very good at Brigitte. Why not have him play Brigitte? This way he can still be up there damage dealing and also throwing out heals and all that. That'll be a good compromise for if Mercy goes down. Or why not have him play Soldier to drop the, you know, his healing field for if, I always forget what that's called. I think it's Biotic Field, something like that. His E ability.
Like yeah.
Yeah, his his healing.
Well, and the Brigitte
Why
would
not
have
have
been
that?
good because the Brigitte could have stunned Carpe, and they could have taken
Yep.
him out.
Or again, why not? I don't know. Moira, you can throw those balls, understand where he's gonna be on the Widow, and just throw it so that it goes right by his head, then bounces back. That'll completely drain his health pool.
Well, that was kind of one of my frustrating things, like when I was watching the LA replay. When you have something that you're doing and it's not working, do something different. Don't just keep sticking with something that's not working. But I feel like maybe he was too afraid to switch in fear that he wasn't going to do as good as healing if he would have switched to something else. I feel like he just was too afraid. Or maybe his team didn't want him to switch. I'm not really sure because we can't hear the talk back and forth while they're playing. So, but I feel like a lot of, especially healers, are afraid to switch what they play. Especially when considering he was solo healing, he probably still felt that Mercy was the best choice, which she is. But again, when you're caught out of position, it doesn't really matter.
No.
Yep. Also, who knows about just honestly what's said behind closed doors? Maybe he was told, "No, you're Mercy. That we've done the scrims with you playing other characters. Mercy is your best hero. You're not allowed to swap off of her. Period. No matter what happens, you're snap picking that Mercy. You're always Mercy."
And see, if I
Maybe
was,
that's something that was said to him.
and then
So maybe
that would be the fault of the coach at that point.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because, you know, you have to be able to swap. If things aren't working, you have to swap. Simple.
So
You have to be able to give players the freedom that if they're not feeling something, that you have to give them a second option. I'm not saying that they can switch to 3 and 4 different characters, but you have to be able to give them a backup.
so you can't force somebody to feel a hero that they're not. There are some days where I can play a hero amazingly, and other days I'm like, not really feeling this. And you have to be able to give them freedom like that. But like like we said, we don't know what was said before the game. We don't know what was talked about during the game. So he may not have had the option to switch.
Mm-hmm.
So Boston ended up dropping map 2, which was Lijiang, 2-0.
Yep.
They then also dropped Eichenwald 3-1. And then they dropped Hanamura 2-1. So,
Yep.
I mean, they
On
fell apart.
Hanamura, they had the right idea off the get-go, though, which was they had a Hotba, I believe it was. Was it? I have it written down here. Yeah, I think it was Hotba. They had him on the Diva, and he just kept pushing Carpe to try and shut him down, which eventually did make him swap to the Tracer. So they had that good idea of getting him off the Widow, but it didn't work too well when he still just murdered you.
When Carpe is Carpe, it doesn't really matter what you switch to. When you're playing that good. So, I mean, I'm excited now, though, even more so, to watch the Philly and New York game now after watching what they did to Boston. So, I'm not saying that I think they're gonna win, because I don't. I'm still with my New York pick to win, but I just think watching players like Harpe and then other people that we haven't talked about, like Hotba, like Boombox, those people, I just think it's gonna be fun to see what they're gonna do to them to adjust to what they did to Boston, so there's not a repeat of the dismantling.
Mm-hmm.
It would be nice to see a team fight.
It would. I mean, how crazy though would it be if Philly actually did pull this off?
I would hate it.
I know, because you're just that one step away.
Our brackets would cry. Yep.
Random would be sitting there laughing at me for being this stupid.
No, that's stupid.
So, So yeah, since Philly is the 6th seed, there is no one lower than them. They face New York. No ifs, ands, or buts. It doesn't matter what happens with that London and Gladiators game on Saturday. That's the way it is. And whoever wins the London and Gladiators game faces the Valiant. So.
Which, surprise, surprise, it's not LA versus LA.
Nope.
No.
Apparently, we're all the Thieves Valiant fan for the next couple days now.
Am I though? Because I'm.
Listen. You said that if LA lost, that you would still root for the Valiant because it's an LA team. You said this.
Did I?
You did.
Not on stream.
I guarantee you, I have it
Okay.
recorded. It just may not be a part of the podcast.
Okay.
She's like, alright, I guess I'll do it.
No, I don't remember saying this because I honestly don't remember who I picked in my bracket.
Old age
I
do
was-
that to you.
I was not old age, heartbreak. Like, I was so heartbroken. Like, I told you guys in our Discord, the game's over, they won, I'm done. I'm off the computer. I'm not even doing it. I'm done for the
I'm
night.
so disappointed. Yeah.
She
Yeah.
actually logged off her computer.
Yeah.
Like, Discord wasn't online, Battle.net wasn't online.
No,
No.
I was like, you guys have your notes. I'm done. I'll see you tomorrow.
She made a blanket fort and cried herself to sleep.
So,
Random tried messaging you to play Stardew.
You ignored Stardew?
no, I don't remember what I was.
I love how she conveniently doesn't remember half of this now.
I don't remember what I was doing
That would have been the next day on Sunday.
on Sunday.
She's still heartbroken.
I was still heartbroken.
Well, it's what, Tuesday? I'm horrible with days now because of my job.
Yeah.
Working
Today
the
is
overnight shift.
Tuesday,
Yep.
so
Um.
sorry.
So let's talk about the heartbreak.
Yes, let's talk about LA completely tanking it.
My only note here is, what the fuck, LA? You guys are idiots.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty much accurate for the last two matches. The
Like-
only fight that LA put in, match 2, was they took 1 point on Dorado. That was it.
Yep.
That was it. Nothing else.
Yep.
Look at her face.
Yep.
2-1, 2-0, 3-0. I don't even have an explanation other than why didn't you put Fisher in?
Because I asked myself the same question, but like, what they're gonna go against their statement and be like, "Oh no!" Like,
Well,
can you honestly see the coach on the side of the stage being like, "Fisher, we're really sorry about this. Things that we said. We really need you to put on your jersey and get your ass up on the stage. Please save us." Like, that's the only thing they can't say.
well,
Here's my next question. Was Fisher even there?
I don't know.
Because they could have simply left him at the team house.
I don't know.
You have a good point
Like-
there.
Let's be honest. You're a player for a... Let's use sports. Actual sports. Let me rephrase that. Not actual sports.
Oh, you
but
just
you know,
use fighting words.
traditional.
Do we have to go back to the Beyond Bites episode for a second?
I'm sorry about that. I'm used to talking to family members who say, yeah, let's compare this to actual sports. Let's go to traditional sports. With that, if a player knows he's not going to get put in the game, if he knows he's going to be on the bench the entire time, why leave the hotel room?
I don't know about you Canadian players, but in America, we sit in on the bench.
It's called Team Pride, honey.
Yep.
With hockey, I've seen it multiple times, not NHL level, but, you know, the step downs where the players know they're not going to be played, whether it be because of, you know, injuries, stuff like that, and they just stay at home. They don't even show up.
I've seen a couple times where a player, specifically in the NFL, will stay back because of an injury, but typically that's only when it's like a really bad injury and they have to have surgery. Otherwise, they are there on the sidelines whether they play or not.
Yeah. Even an injury in baseball, I've seen players that are on the DL, the disabled list, sitting in the dugout with their team, cheering them on.
Maybe it's just a Canadian thing.
It's just a Canadian thing.
I feel like
Also
we
might
just
just
started a
be-
war.
Yeah, probably. Who gives a shit?
Yeah,
Canada
so
won't win the fight. We're too nice.
that's true. So that was, I mean, anything else for map 2 other than, I mean, that's all I got for that one.
The Gladiators were stupid for pulling out Doomfist because they got 100% into zeroed on Oasis with it.
Yeah, that was kind
And
of
did
silly.
they not swap off of Doomfist also? They kept him for the entire thing.
For that
I
point,
don't ever
yes.
recall seeing LA pull out of Doomfist that much, so that's kind of surprising.
I mean,
yeah, I understand you have a different tank, so maybe Doomfist was working in scrims. But this isn't scrims.
yeah.
People take games more seriously than scrims.
Mm-hmm.
You can never judge anything off of how it's happening in scrims, because in scrims, your other team might be just joking around, having fun, not caring.
True.
And I understand the hype behind Hydration playing Doomfist so much, but if it's not doing any good, don't play him. You have other characters in your pocket. Pick someone.
He's very good at other players.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Farah.
I mean, he's good with a lot of heroes. He's good with Farah. He's good with Roadhog, even. There's plenty of heroes he could have picked.
It's with his Farah that they were even able to touch point, too. They capped it for, 50% of the way through? And it was because of his Farah that they were able to keep it. And then they just, eh.
Yep.
Sad. So, Matt, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, I
No,
was going to switch
I was
to match
just gonna-
3, so.
I was just gonna say it was pretty much hydration with his Farah that helped them for a lot of the stuff, even on Wednesday.
I mean, because Sherford wasn't really having very much luck on Widowmaker. Birdwing was shutting him down big time. So any success that they had, I felt was on the back of Fisher, or not, I'm sorry, Hydration. And for a little bit when Shaz wasn't healing, he did help. But that was it. Iramix didn't really do much of anything. Big Goose was out of position a couple of times. That's it.
Doing Big Goose things. Yep. Yeah. I mean, even as I told a retro in our group chat, as I was watching the game, you could just see the defeat on their faces.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They're so frustrated. And I think once you get to that point, it's really hard to dig yourself out of that hole once you allow yourself to get into that frustration point. So,
yep,
it really set the tone for match 3. There's one specific thing, because I actually watched this right before the show, for map 1, which is Junkertown. I don't know, London, I think, kind of smelled victory. So I feel like, especially for the last match, they were playing uber aggressive than they were before. I think
they were.
They felt that LA was feeling defeated and that they were getting beat down, and they capitalized on it like they should have. But it was hard to watch because LA had a lot of really good moments.
They did. Bijou on Diva was pulling out some amazing plays and allowing them to capture points with just his Diva alone. Nobody else was involved. Yep. So it looked like they had the life, but they really didn't.
They had Sparks but no fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they did end up dropping that 3-2, unfortunately. But like I said, it was just, even though I knew the outcome, I was watching the replay of the game and I was so invested already right off the bat. And I was like, oh my god, how did they lose this when I'm watching these amazing moments that they were having? I'm like, how do you have that and knowing in the back of my head that they didn't win a single map? It was hard for my brain to comprehend. And then when I saw the fall apart, I was like, oh, no wonder Thea was such in a vast state of depression. I would have been too.
Because it was like, oh, that was such a great play. We have hope. And then it just like crumbles before your eyes in like less than 20 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even talk about it. I'm sorry. It's just, and I think I made a statement to you, Frag, when we were talking on Facebook, that it's not because I'm an LA fan. It was because it looked that bad. Like, the fall apart was awful. Thank you, Kat.
I mean, I know me and Retro are happy that we didn't have to watch it live.
Mm-hmm.
So,
because
because I think
it just would have been Retro typing "what the fuck" repeatedly.
No, I think it would be me typing, okay, where's the rum?
Yeah. Where's this whole bottle I can down right now?
I won't lie, I totally went and got a beer out of
Right
the fridge
here.
when the game was over.
God.
So, like,
Alright. Oh my gosh.
okay, so, there were a couple good highlights, like we talked about. I think they were their own downfall, though, because those new rules of where you pick maps, like, they picked their own demise. Did they get to pick the first match? Yes, they got to pick the first match because they were the higher seed. But map 2 and map 3, they picked it. They wanted it. They thought they knew what they were doing.
Well, just like Retro said when we were talking over here. Retro said when we were talking about Philly and New York. Statistically, for these maps, LA should have taken it.
Oh, we skipped over that stat. So, on the second match, so the first round of Saturday, London had never won those maps. Period. Trying to blow up my screenshot that I took. Like it looked good for LA. Like they were supposed to walk away with it. London was not supposed to have a chance at all. They had never won those maps. Yeah, the Gladiators beat them on Lingjing Tower 2-0. They beat them on Oasis 2-0. They beat them on Kings Row 2-0. Volskaya Industries 2-0. Junkertown 1-0, and Nepal 1-0. I mean, we didn't play Nepal, but that's a lot of zeros. Forget about the fact that they had never won against LA in the regular season. They hadn't even taken those maps, so LA should have walked away with it, and instead, statistics like stabbed me in the back.
But do we feel like that it was just solely because Fisher didn't play?
Nope, I do feel that is a part of it.
Yes, it's
even the team in themselves. They would have been like, "Hey, we turned it around after we got Fisher." So in the back of their minds, subconsciously, they were equating Fisher with winning. So when they were told, "We're not having Fisher," back of their mind, they probably thought, "We're not winning." The whole reason they won on Wednesday is just the fact that A, everyone was like, "No, you're going to lose." So they had that adrenaline pumping saying, "No, we have to win this." And B, London did make mistakes on Wednesday.
They did. I mean, I have to agree with Retro. It's not 100% on the fact that Fisher didn't play. But, like, you were talking about, like, the defeat that you could see on their faces. And the thought that went in my mind was Fisher's that lighthearted personality that could have snapped them out of it. Not just his gameplay, but his personality could have snapped them out of it in order to get them to relax a little.
There was one specific shot that I saw, and it was of Surefour. And they honed on him like they do each individual player. And when they were talking about the frustration on their faces, they immediately turned the camera to Surefour, and you could see his face. And, like, I literally could just personally feel his frustration. I was feeling it for him. I was pissed off for him because they just said, "Oh, the frustration on LA's face is boom straight to Surefour's face," and it was heartbreaking.
He was angry.
Yeah, he should have been. The only thing I will say with what Retro said, as far as they associate fissure with winning in the back of their head, I feel like that hopefully will get better as time goes on, because you can't mentally psych yourself out of winning because one person's not playing. I feel like that is the difference between an amateur player and a professional player, is you'd be like, all right, this person's not here, it's fine, what do we have to do to make this work? So I feel like part of it is they kind of mentally tapped out because Fisher wasn't there.
But I think it's more than just one player, though. I think I made a comment in our. I made a comment on our Discord during the match 3 that they took Bijou out. Like,
yeah, you did.
Why would you take Bijou out? Like,
that was what I responded with in capital letters. Why?
Yeah, like, it's not just about Fisher. Why was Bijou not playing more? He was playing amazing when he was in there. Why would you take him out?
Yep. Didn't they do the same thing on Wednesday also? They subbed out Bijou. Also, when they already had iRemix in, so they subbed out someone else for Bijou.
Void is who subs in for Bijou, and I do not recall Void playing on Wednesday. I know he played in match 2 and match 3, but I don't know if he played on Wednesday.
I believe he did, because I believe I remember having this note.
It kind of seems like a trend of them subbing and making changes when they don't need to, and then when they need to, they don't. Do it.
Yeah, they don't. Because they pulled hydration a couple times, and who subs for hydration?
I know the answer to this. Maybe. Oh my god. Nope, I'm gonna find out.
Silk Thread.
Thank you. Yes.
Yes. I mean, not that I have anything against Silk Thread, but why would you sub hydration for Silk Thread when you just had this amazing play that allowed you to push it, 70 more meters than what you wouldn't have been without?
I don't even feel like Silk Thread played that great either. I was watching him on the King's Row map for Game 3 because he was in there, and I was watching him play the Brigitte, and I was like, he's not even contributing that much.
No, because when Bijou got subbed out for Void, I do not mean to bash iRemix, I really don't, but Void played even better than iRemix. It just looked like there was a reason that iRemix wasn't played during the regular season, and it showed in match 3 why he wasn't played. Out of position, dead, all the time, no shield,
He was missing his little shield stuns. He was missing those a lot, I was noticing.
He was also misplacing his shields all the time. That's one thing I do remember from Wednesday. And I looked back in our Discord. They did sub out Bijou in Game 2.
Okay.
I just don't have the note saying they did.
Okay.
Yeah, so I watched the entirety of at least map 3 for that. And I did notice there was 2 things that stuck out to me. At the beginning, LA made this really big push, right off the bat. And they did good until Birdring actually sniped off their Moira. I can't remember who was playing Moira. I want to say it was Shaz. But right away, Birdring sniped him off. And as soon as Shaz got sniped, that push just completely died.
Yeah.
And they had to recoup. So just that one snipe by Birdring just completely destroyed that push. And at the end, Shaz had switched to the Zenyatta. And somehow, Shaz decided he either got separated or he was going to 1v1 gesture for some reason. But at the end when they were pushing, there's that little hallway that's right there as you're going down the final hill. And Shaz was 1v1ing Gesture, who plays Winston. And he was completely away from his entire team. The whole rest of his team was on the payload. And he was away. And I was like, why would you 1v1
a tank?
And he paid the price for it. And I feel like that was part of the reason why they were able to finish that cap, because Chaz was completely separated with Gesture, and Winston's got the shield. You're not going to do anything to him as a Zenyatta without any backup. And he ended up dying, and that was another striker versus striker moment. Like, why would you do that?
Yep.
So, but that's why I said in the beginning of the show that if I had to pick of the teams and the players that we've watched play so far, I think Birdring deserves MVP because he showed up every single match.
Prophet played really well too. I will
Yes,
say
yeah.
that.
So
I feel like him switching to that Junkrat, LA didn't have an answer for that. And especially when LA was they had all those shields. I believe they had the Orisa and they had a Reinhardt for map 3, and Junkrat just completely was annihilating those shields and keeping them down. And you would see when Reinhardt's shield gets smashed, you can't immediately pull it back up. Even if you have some shield on it, it gets to a certain point and then you can pull it up. And I noticed he immediately, as soon as he was able to pull it back up, you could see the cracks in the shield, and he was trying to pull that thing up for dear life every time it got broken. And as soon as Prophet would break that shield, Birdring was right there to clean that up and pick them off.
yeah. So would we like to end the show on a good note? Let's raise everybody's spirits a little bit.
Yes, I would like some happy.
So let's talk about how popular Overwatch League is.
Yes.
Premiere night, it got announced that Overwatch League playoffs would be aired on Twitch. Was it ABC or NBC? I can't remember.
I want to say it was ABC, ESPN2,
and Disney.
And Disney.
And
interesting choice, Disney, but
I mean, kids. They're trying to get the younger generations to get into esports more.
It worked. The numbers were.
Yeah, the height of the Philly game was on Twitch alone was 125,000 people watching on Twitch. For the height of the LA game, it was 115,000. So that's a lot of people. And that's just Twitch. We didn't get TV numbers or anything. And then I think near the end of the matches on Saturday with LA, the announcers made the announcement that Season 2 would be airing on Disney and Twitch. I don't know if they're going to continue with ABC and ESPN2, but they will be premiering regular matches on Disney.
Yeah,
as well,
they have a contract with Disney, oddly enough. So
that I didn't know about, because I'm going to be completely honest, I did not watch all of the Saturday games. I just watched the first set.
Yeah.
Which is probably better for your heart.
I wasn't really a Gladiators fan. Didn't bother me too much.
So
and I like Cloud9's organization, and they own London, so
yeah,
I was good either way.
Fair enough.
But I didn't know that, and that makes sense to me. Because if you look at just the graphics of Overwatch and everything is very kid-friendly. We never show blood, so
that's
it makes sense.
Huh?
Yeah,
I never thought about that.
One of the few shooter games. It's one of the few shooter games that could have a G rating theoretically. Well, not G, but a low PG rating.
I was about to say, I don't know about G.
Yeah.
I mean, and they also never show, or they never listen in on the comms for the teams unless they know that it's good. Like, they'll only do a replay. They'll never do live. Which
is
I wouldn't be surprised if they start making them PG so that we can do live look-ins and live sound-in.
Well, if anything, they need to take lessons from Call of Duty, because they do live sound-ins from there, and those are some healthy people.
Yeah, like I've listened to the sound-offs that Gladiators have posted on their YouTube.
I can only imagine what Counter-Strike is like, Retro.
Oh, there was one where they were doing a call-out, and they said, he's over here, he's one shot. Well, the guy needed 3 shots to finish the guy off, and you can just hear him yelling, "You mother You lied to me, you piece of... And he's talking to his own teammate, who he lives with. And he's just going in, insulting him, and saying how he's so stupid and all this. And then 3 seconds later, hey, says the player's name, buy me an AK. It's like, you were just saying he deserves to die in a fire 30 seconds ago.
Oh
Those
my
are some mood
gosh.
swings.
Bipolar.
That's the way it is when you're in the heat of competition.
Gaming changes
Like,
people.
Look at how many times you and me will be playing comp frag, and you don't hear it that much because you're not really in team chat, but you'll hear me because I'll be, you know, pushing my push to talk to you and them if I'm talking to them, so you can also hear it. And I'll just yell at someone saying, your call out was wrong. Why the did you say that? It's like I then get out of position and killed, so I'm taking out on the guy who said the comm. However, I should remember there's a delay in the comms, so that guy was last seen in this general area. That area can now be expanded to this big. Like,
Many
that's on
times
the
since
plate.
I've heard the deviant calls of Retro yelling at people in team chat.
I mean, how many times do I curse when we're playing? Even when we're winning, I curse. Like,
Oh, yeah.
hell yeah! Like,
That's like a prerequisite to play Overwatch with us. If you don't have a potty mouth, get out.
Yep. Like, if they do this whole listen in live with Disney and all that, I want them to slightly do it differently on Twitch and on Disney. So on Disney, only do recorded chats. So, you know, do a replay of, you know, that play where they just completely stomped them and it looked awful. This is how their team comms were. But have live listen in so we can hear them say, oh, go fuck yourself. You know?
Fair enough.
Because on Twitch, I don't want to say it's going to be an older audience, but I do see the mothers and all that of the younger children pulling them off of Twitch, where you do have Twitch chat, which, let's be honest,
is terrible.
if you could find a way to put the emotions in Twitch chat into a weapon, that would be the world's biggest nuke.
Yeah.
It would destroy the world with how toxic it would be.
I just hit the little arrow and don't even see the chat.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
make the mistake of looking at it occasionally.
But I feel like it slows my window down too, because it's going at such a fast rate. I'm like, I don't even want to deal with it.
It does, but with this, I see it being good, because I do see us getting more viewership now of the parents who are like, oh, I don't want you to watch this because of Twitch chat. Specifically using that, now that they're not going to have said Twitch chat, and they'll just have it on Disney, it'll be better for that.
I agree.
Plus, who knows? I don't want to say the production value is bad, but maybe it'll even go up a little bit. Maybe this will help them get that, how they want, you know, LA to have their own stadium. Well, LA to have 2 stadiums, New York to have their stadium, Dallas, Houston, everyone to have their own stadium. Maybe part of the Disney Channel partnership is Disney's paying to get all these stadiums.
I mean, it's going to be difficult if we go up to 24 teams like they're rumoring, but
I haven't heard that big. I've heard it going up by 6 teams, so up to 18.
okay.
Completely different show.
I
but
have
yes.
not heard
Yeah.
that. I have not heard that it's doubling. Everything I've been looking at, it's that 4 to 6 teams added, that range. 8 if they get really rambunctious, or if, you know, you do have just people who are, you know, I have a big checkbook, I want a team. Well,
what I
we're
would do.
completely full. I'll double the payment. Okay, fine. I'll take your money.
If I had the money, I would do that. Be like,
Can we
here's
buy
one
a
Overwatch
team?
team.
Can we buy a team together?
I would love
No.
to buy a team.
We don't have the money. We
But
don't have the 20 million to buy a slot.
Trump change. Psh, just pull that out of my
Which I
pocket
do
right
just
now.
want to point one thing out about that while we're on that topic. That's only the reported. That's not confirmed that that's how much each slot was. That's reported what one team paid.
A lot of money.
So just because one team paid that doesn't mean they all paid that.
That's so much
But there
money.
are reports that the highest paid for when they expand is currently at like 30 or 40 million.
Ouch. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, so
On that note of people spending more money than we'll ever see in our combined lives.
yes. So Wednesday is going to be another round of the playoffs.
Both teams are going to play.
Yes.
I believe Valiant and London are playing first, and then
Nope.
No, it's the other way around.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
Fusion and New York are playing at 5 p.m. and Spitfire
Pacific
and Valiant
Standard
are
Time.
playing at 7. Yes.
Yeah, Pacific Standard Time. So.
And Friday, Friday will be London and Valiant games 2 and 3.
If needed.
If needed. And then Saturday will be games 2 and 3, if needed, for Fusion and New York. I'm almost hoping for... Is it possible to have a London Fusion final? Can that be a thing? 2 underdog
Not
teams?
likely, but it's a thing. I mean,
It's
none
a
of us picked
possibility.
that.
After what happened with the first week of playoffs, I'm not going to rule anything out.
I don't have confidence in anything anymore.
If Fusion can beat New York with them having just the players they have of Jonak and Pine,
Good luck to any other team.
anything can happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be really good. And at least now all of our teams are out of it, so we don't have to worry about crying the rest of the season.
Although it would be nice if Gladiators made it and then just, week 3, these just constantly crying, just a stream of tears down her eyes when they lost.
That would be
I mean,
horrible.
I love
You're
you,
an
Dee.
awful person.
Don't look at me.
Oh my gosh. No.
Yes, I am an awful person, but it made Dee laugh, and that was the point.
This is
I'll-
true.
I'll-
This is true.
I'll get over it. So,
She will. So,
I mean,
go ahead.
go ahead. I mean, the thing that I find interesting, though, since we're talking about schedule, is the grand finals are all played in one day. Like, we're splitting up all of these matches, but...
No, the grand finals are 2 days, Friday and
Is it?
Saturday.
Is it? Okay. Sorry. On my
Friday
schedule,
at
I
5
only...
PM and then Saturday at 2 and 4.
See, on my schedule, I only have the 27th, so I must not have updated. I'm sorry.
Terrible.
No problem. What I would have liked to see personally is it be a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or a Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, and have one game set per day. If you don't play one of those days, oh well, but just one best of 5 each day.
Yeah.
But
I would agree with that.
I'm also very competitive. I want the teams to be fully rested up and everything, because I do feel that did hurt Boston, was the fact that they played a best of, 2 best of 5.
I hope it goes all 3, though. I want to see that adrenaline for that final match of them going at it. I want to see it. I don't want
I'd
to...
honestly like to see it go all 3, and then them need the tiebreaker for the last one.
Yes, I would like to, maybe not in the grand finals, but I would like to see it at some point to go to that tiebreaker map. That would
I
be
want to
very...
see Nepal.
I just want to see it be
Yeah.
competitive. I don't want to see 2 zeros, 1, 3 zeros. I want to see numbers. I don't want it to be one-sided.
I'm fine with whatever zeros as long as the game was close when you actually look at it.
Yeah.
So, for example, let's say we see a 1-0. Okay, cool. That means they both held 0.1 for a long time, and the one team just slightly irked out. Or let's say we're playing not Nepal, Oasis, or Lijiang, and it is a 2-0, but the one team, it's like, 100 to 99 both times. We know it was very competitive.
That would be fine. I'd be fine with that. I just don't want it to be fully one team just running away with it. Like, these teams need to...
So like how it
keep
was
their game up.
on Wednesday
Friday.
with the Gladiators, or even Wednesday with the Gladiators, how they won 3-0 really quick.
Yeah. I want a nail bite. I want a nail bite so hard it goes down to the nubs.
Like you currently are.
No, it's not that bad right now. But that does wrap it up for us for this week. We will be filming again on, what did we say, Saturday night for week 2 of the playoffs.
Possibly Saturday night, because I'm looking at the time for when everything ends. And it's like,
whenever
great.
Retro can be here.
I'll need to be going to work right after those games if it goes to a map.
So we'll be filming when it fits Retro's schedule, basically.
What are we
I'm sorry,
filming
guys.
without me?
No.
Okay.
If we want to film Saturday night, we can film one without me. Long story short, me and Random, we're moving in together. Our moving date is the 23rd, so I need to do a lot of packing and then take all my stuff, and I work till the 22nd at 7 a.m. So,
Damn your
yeah.
schedule.
Hey, it pays me more. I love it.
True. Mondays wouldn't make
You
sense.
guys won't be seeing all this next time. I'll have my own little space.
Yep.
Same. This will be completely different for me.
Well, eventually mine will be too. It's slowly getting there. You know, with the blank
Hopefully
space
this
behind
will be
me.
different too. This won't be so ugly
Are
next
you
time.
gonna have a new face? So you can put Random's face on there?
I prefer something else that we were discussing.
Oh god. Let's not get into that.
No, we're not doing that.
Nope. Alright,
No,
so
hopefully I'll shave
hopefully.
next time.
So we will see
Hopefully
you
I'll
guys
be allowed to.
sometime next week. As soon as I know the exact date, we will keep you guys updated on social media and in our Discord. So if you guys don't have those links, make sure you click below. Everything will be there, as well as our updated fail brackets, which is why this episode is named Bye Bye Bracket. So
Although Frag does have one little check mark.
I do, and I'm holding on to that for dear life. It's my leverage. So, but we will see you guys in a week. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Make sure you hit the thumbs up, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I hope you guys do enjoy the series of games that we have coming up. I know we are all looking forward to it. So,
Yep.
we will all be crying when the season ends and have to watch Contenders, which is also good, but not the league. So
The names are also cool. Not cool, funny.
yeah, they are. Yeah. Like, who are you?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know. So make sure you guys follow all of our social media down there and everything we have going on. For those of you who maybe watch the show and not Beyond Bites or don't follow us on Twitch, should, by the way, we still have our giveaway for a copy of Fallout 76 that runs all the way up until the day before it releases. That way you get to pick what platform that you want. If you do get to pick PC, you get first dibs at being on our little reservation with us, so I can nuke all of your crap.
Right, I need to buy 2 copies of that, one for me and one for Random.
Yeah.
Thanks for reminding me.
You're welcome. So, in the description there will be a link. There's many ways for everybody to enter, so make sure you take advantage of that. That would be lots of fun. I can't wait. But we will see you guys in a week, hosts permitting.
Worst case scenario, you just won't be seeing my face.
Find that to be better.
Very good for the London game, or for the London and Gladiators game, though. Like, I don't
You
even
were
have
too heartbroken.
notes. I don't even have notes on their defense for, like, one of the maps. It's just blank. I was like, there really wasn't a defense. What the fuck am I supposed to put?
None.
Exactly.
N-A. Not applicable.